Ale House. It's time for the Owl Show. Howdy, big hooty hoo! Hooty hoo! All right, my name's Chuck Burge, and this is my co-host, Robert Kenny. Robert, how's your week?
It's getting better every minute.
Hey, that's a good way to be, right?
Absolutely.
And we are privileged to have ecstatic, over the moon to have a very special guest with us today, Miss Coach Octavia Blue.
Hooty.
Hooty hoo!
Hooty hoo.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Chuck. Thanks.
No, thank you. So let's get right into it. We've got a big show tonight. Tell us about Octavia's growing up, playing ball, and all that stuff down in South Florida.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much a late bloomer. I got into the game, just coming out of middle school, going into high school. Was discovered by my PE coach. Just one of the girls, instead of playing hula hoop and hopscotch, I picked up a basketball and started tossing it around. Had no idea what I was doing, but somehow, some way, he saw something in me, and he told me to teach me how to play. So every day, instead of in my PE class participating with my schoolmates,
playing battle ball or
right,
whatever.
and all that other stuff, he was teaching me how to make a layup. And I had incredible athleticism, and somehow it came together. Had an opportunity, play in high school, excelled at it, and rest is history.
Did you play in other sports?
I ran track for a little bit, but when I found out that I was a jumper, so I did the long jump, and I found out I had to run just as much as a sprinter. I say, you know what, I'll stick to basketball.
Atta girl. Yeah, basketball is the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're a South Florida girl.
Yes.
You could go anywhere in the world, and you wanted to go right down the road, didn't you?
Well, it fell out that way. Let's just say that, as I mentioned, I was a late bloomer, was a little bit under-recruited because I really wasn't on this national spotlight. My mom allowed me to play travel ball just one summer. So I had a USA trial on the campus of University of Kentucky when I was in 11th grade, and my first offer was for University of Kentucky. So, of course, I fell in love with University of Kentucky, and that's where I thought I wanted to go. And my mom told me there's no way you little Florida girl is going to survive in Lexington, Kentucky. She begged me to go visit University of Miami, which I did because it would be closer, and I actually fell in love with it. And so that's how I ended up there.
Had you been to the campus before?
I had been to the campus one time with my high school team to see a basketball game, a women's basketball game. Was really exciting, and I saw myself there. So visiting there and kind of seeing in depth what the campus looked like,
Sure.
Seeing the classrooms, meeting the team, meeting the coaches, it felt like home. People always say during recruitment, if it feels right, feels like home when you're in the campus, that's where you should follow. That's where you should go.
Now, what other schools recruited you?
Oh, man, I can't tell you. I had tons of letters. After that one tournament, I'll never forget, it was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I came back, my mailbox was overflowing. At the time...
And when you say mailbox, you mean an actual real mailbox back in that day.
The one that was on the side of the road, and the carrier came out. So there were stuffed letters from, Virginia to Iowa, where Vivian Stringer was there. Arkansas. There were every place in the country you would name. I had a letter of interest.
Did you visit any other places besides Kentucky and Miami?
No.
Yeah.
I went to Kentucky, just to be fair. My mom said, okay, let's go. And then I came back, did to Miami. Of course, I didn't commit on the visit. I had to go home, and you know how we always go. Hey, we got to think about it. I felt it on the visit, but I wanted to go home and make sure it was real. So
that's good.
I decided to commit to University of Miami.
Now, Miami's Coral Gables, right?
Coral Gables, yes.
Yeah. Now, Kentucky's got a pretty campus, too.
Beautiful from what I remember. It's been many, many years since I've been there. But
yes. We were talking about weather earlier. You'd had to figure out some snow up there.
No question. As a coach, we went out to the University of Kentucky when I was an assistant coach at University of Miami, and it was freezing cold. And I was saying to myself, there's no way.
Glad
but
I didn't go here.
You had to know they played on that whole blue thing. It was Go Big Blue, and my last name was Blue, so it just...
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they really played on it. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Go Big Blue.
Yes.
Everybody yells that anyway. Just imagine what happens when you fit into that.
How could I not feel special?
Sure, absolutely.
How can Michigan not be in the hunt?
Right.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you have an incredible college career at the University of Miami, and when did the WNBA seem attainable?
Well, it didn't exist when I first arrived to University of Miami.
So not very attainable very early.
Exactly. So, my freshman year, it did not exist. Sophomore year, it did not exist. 1997, my junior year, here comes a league, the WNBA. Now, granted, there was a pro league that came out maybe a year before my sophomore year. Okay. It's called the ABL, American Basketball League. They played a traditional basketball season, same season as we would in college athletics in high school. And then the WNBA came about, and they were promoting it like crazy. There was an affiliation to the NBA, so it's like, oh my God, we get to play. Because what we knew as women basketball players, we would need to go overseas if we wanted to be pros.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that was something I was thinking about, but to know that there was a WNBA in existence, that was something I could be training for, something that I can see myself doing it. So the moment that it came about, I had my mind set on playing in that league. So I did whatever I needed to do, whether it was extra workouts or whatever. I wanted to play. So
you were focused your freshman and sophomore years, but maybe uber focused your junior and senior years?
No question. Awesome. Had to heighten it.
Absolutely. And then 15th overall to a team that basically had the best player in the world at that point, right?
It did, Lisa Leslie, and I remember being so starstruck first day of training camp.
They may answer a question from later.
Yeah, I'd never been out to the West Coast prior to that. I got drafted second round, was able to fly out to LA and see, my first couple weeks there before training camp started. I went out to Venice Beach. I went and played hoops out on the outdoor court, and I'm looking at stars. I think Chris Rock was out there.
Right.
I went to, what was that, Jerry's Famous Deli or something down there. I went out there and I saw another actor, and they're just walking around. So I was so starstruck every time I turned the corner.
And Venice Beach is a weird place.
It is weird,
yeah,
indeed. But I enjoyed it.
I did too.
That's awesome.
That's cool. So what made you decide it was time to stop playing?
Your body tells you that. Your body tells you that. I played for a long time. I think if you're going to stop in your early 30s, if you're starting as a kid in high school, middle school, your body kind of tells you. I was at a point where I was kind of playing year-round for about 3 years straight. I would go over and play in Europe, okay, and that's about 7-8 months. And then the WNBA would be in the summer for 3 months. So I would go back overseas, 3 months in the WNBA, and then, I just think my body took a toll. It was taking me more to get, prepared to play a game, and then having to sit out the rest after the game to start back up again. So my knees started breaking down on me, and then my ultimate injury was I tore my Achilles. Actually, was the last time I played pro ball.
That's painful.
It is, especially when you're 32. So
yeah. You're already 32?
I'm 47.
I would have thought you were about 25.
Thank you. Love that. You always know how to flatter a woman, huh? Yeah. Now I was 32 when I quit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. We'll go on to get this fun question out of the way, because you've told us all the places you've been and who all you met. We asked all our guests, who's the most famous person in your cell phone? Coach Mack?
Probably Coach Mack. Who do I have famous in my cell phone? I still have Cheryl Swoop's phone number. I have a ton of WNBA players, yeah.
Female Jordan.
Yes, there you go. I still have her. I know he's a famous rapper. You guys know Uncle Luke?
I know
I have him in my phone. Who else may I have? That's about it.
I think Uncle Luke and Cheryl Swoop's pretty
yeah, and a ton of, Miami football players that are now famous. I have Ed Reed. I had Ray Lewis. I don't know if it's still valid, but I had all those guys.
Oh, that's right. He's a Cane, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. We asked everything. It's kind of a fun question. We've had everybody from my grandma to Samuel L. Jackson. So that's pretty cool, yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, so I like that. So 32, you tear your Achilles and you say, what am I going to do next? Did somebody approach you about coaching, or you decided you wanted to coach?
No, that's a great question. Now, I didn't think I was going to walk away after the Achilles. If you're a competitor, you don't want to walk off the floor like that. I thought I'd come back home to Florida. I moved back to Miami.
Gonna rehab.
Yeah, I was rehabbing, exactly. I get a call from one of my former college coaches. She recently took a head coaching job at St. Thomas University down in Miami Gardens, Florida. Okay,
right.
First year they're having a women's basketball program. She's like, Blue, get over here. I need you to be my post coach. I'm like, I am not coaching. There's no way. Had no desire to coach. But she said, listen, just come over here. You're home. You're not doing anything anyway but rehabbing. Come check us out. So I go over to her practice. I help out the young ladies for one day. I come back the second day, and after a week, I was sold on coaching. So I joined her staff. I stayed with her for 2 years. And after 2 years, I say to her, of course, I think I can just move to Division One.
Right, you're going to be a head coach of WNBA.
I'm like, hey, you think you can help me get a Division One job? She's looking at me like, you got no experience. But you know what? I got lucky. I got a Division One job literally the next season, went out to St. John's. So that's kind of how I got into coaching.
The Red Storm at that point, right?
Yes, the Red Storm.
And Lou Carnesecca, was he the coach there? The men's
He
coach?
was not at that point.
He was already gone. Yeah.
He was already gone.
Yeah.
But you know, he's so famous there. He had an arena named after him. So I had a nice time out there in Queens.
Yeah. And from St. John's, we went to Tech?
Went to Tech, stayed there for 3 years, and then I was called with an opportunity to get back to the University of Miami, where I played, where I went to college. So I coached there for 9 seasons.
Now, did you coach under Agnes at Georgia Tech?
I did not, but I knew of her. Obviously, she had done amazing things.
That's a crazy woman.
I've known her since I was 17 years
Oh,
old.
I really?
Yeah.
She came and spoke at Kennesaw Business Association luncheon one day and dropped the F-bomb, and I thought everybody in the place was going to lose it.
She is in the
hilarious.
Yeah. I love her. I've known her 17 years old, like I mentioned. She and my college coach were best friends, so I've known her a very long time. Yeah.
I've met her a few times, and you know, it'd be fun to set somebody up and go, here, Agnes is going to read this script. You know, Agnes isn't reading this script. That's not happening.
She's seasoned, yes.
Funny lady. So then you went to Miami, and then here next?
Yeah, Kennesaw State.
So how did the introduction to KSU evolve?
Well, I knew of Kennesaw State being at Tech. I mean, you know, it was up the street. I had an assistant. I actually had a friend of mine who coached at Kennesaw State. I was familiar with it. I knew I could live in Georgia. That's the one thing. So when the opportunity came about,
Mom was okay with Georgia?
Oh yeah. Okay. Absolutely. By that time, I had been all over the country, so you know, she was used to me moving around.
By that point, just to throw something out, she had already played professional ball and lived in Greece, Israel, France, Turkey, and Poland.
So Georgia's a little bit closer to home.
Yeah. So Atlanta seems real easy.
So if I'm in the United States, mom was good. So yeah, Kennesaw State. Here's the deal, and I always say this: you got to be a special place for me to leave my comfort. My family's there. My alma mater is my school. You know, I'm in the Hall of Fame there. There's a ton of things that feels like home at University of Miami. But when Kennesaw State was open and became available, I had to pursue it. I saw myself as a head coach, but I was going to wait for the right opportunity. Had opportunities to go to other places, but Kennesaw State really struck my interest. I researched the program, and when I got on campus and saw it for myself, there's no place I'd rather be.
Did you reach out to Milton, or did Milton reach out to you?
No, I reached out to anyone who knew who was making the hire.
There you go.
So I made connections. I know a lot of people. One of the things you should do if you're an assistant at any institution, I encourage you to get to know the administration there. Absolutely. Make friends with them because they know everyone.
That's
correct.
I
said, do you know anybody at Kennesaw State who's hiring? And I put my resume in.
That's awesome.
Yep. Send it to Milton. Send it to Tamika. I would have sent it to President Schwag.
Whoever you can get it to.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but no,
cool.
you bring up a great point. If you want to know who's in charge somewhere, ask the AD. The AD knows who the other ADs are and so forth and so on.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That's cool. So it's funny. We've had many players on the show, and we ask them all the time, why Kennesaw State?
Yes.
And without fail, the food and the accommodations, and they said that's what, and the proximity to Truist Park and the Battery and all that stuff.
You get everything. You want a college feel, but you want to be able to have access to things that you can do outside of, the campus feel. So that's what Kennesaw State provides. In recruiting, we tell them that you get the best of both worlds. You get the campus, you get the college experience, and if you want to go midtown, you want to go downtown, you want to go to Truist Park, you got all that. You got me? So
that's got to be a great selling point. We'll talk a little bit about recruiting, but
sure.
let's go ahead and get our first commercial out of the way if we can. Right?
I think Larry's got the first one. First commercial.
We're doing angles?
Kennesaw lit.
There's a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you want to come in for a personal experience, stop in at Castrol, Kennesaw Express Lube, or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We will always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We are a true owner-operated business where you will find Brian under the car or a hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castrol products.
And we thank you, Brian Bristow, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports, or the Owl Show. We're here with Coach Octavia Blue and just having a big time, learning a lot about her playing career and now more about her coaching stuff. Now we want to get into the Owls. I was at the game when you guys scored 100 points.
Oh, yeah.
How exciting was that? How much fun was that?
Anytime you can hit the century mark is really exciting. That means everybody on your team most likely scored. Everybody on your team most likely got in the game, and it's exciting for the crowd. Anytime you can break a school record or tie a school record with that number,
It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. I went to many games last year. Your little point guard, Amanda Johnson. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's her.
Man, she is quick.
She is quick. She's
Yeah.
skilled. She's a great player. Great player.
Yeah. Now, how many did we graduate this year?
We graduated 5.
5. Wow.
Yes, 5.
So, is your favorite part of coaching going out and recruiting, getting people to fill these spots, or is it just being around the girls?
I enjoy the entire experience. That's what it is. You build those relationships in recruiting. You meet them around 14, 15 years old, and then you watch them graduate across the stage as 22-year-olds. And that's the pleasure I love. That's the thing I love about athletics is you're part of their maturation. You're part of everything they go through in life, and you just watch them grow up from a timid, teenager who's afraid to talk on the phone and answer questions until, they're an adult ready to go out in the real
Strutting
world.
across
across the stage, and you see them grow into their own, and just to know you're a part of that is what we do it for.
Were you a timid teenager?
I was not.
Yeah,
I was
We didn't
not.
think you would be.
so.
No, I was not. I was. If you asked me a question, I was able to articulate it to you, and I love expressing myself, and I wasn't that timid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way, but
Yeah.
it's fun. So, I've watched your coach. I love your style. Tell us a little bit about the recruits that you brought in for this year.
Yeah, so we graduated 5 and we brought in 7. We've got 7 newcomers and 7 returners. So we have 14 young ladies on the team. There's probably only one you would recognize from my very first season, but everyone's brand new. There's no one besides Princess Harden who has been in the program under my tutelage for more than 3 years. For 2 years, besides Princess Harden. So I love our new recruits. We've got a ton of transfers, and that's been working for us for our success. We made big strides from year 1 to year 2, and we're looking forward to doing just that in year 3. But we got quite a mixture of young and old players, and I think it'll be great.
So what is your overall thought on the transfer portal?
I like it for what we're able to do at Kennesaw State. We're able to get players who have been in college, who have experienced college for a little bit, and they can come in and be an impact. We've gotten tons of players, at least 3 or 4 from a Power 5 where they probably weren't getting the minutes they wanted to get.
Correct.
Doesn't mean they're not Power 5 players, but they had an opportunity to come here, Kennesaw State, and play more minutes and show what they can do here on our level. So it helped us win an extra 6 games, by getting those recruits in.
So you had said you graduated 5 and you brought in 7.
Yes.
That difference in 2, is that we're moving up to Conference USA and you're getting more scholarships, or
No, we didn't get more scholarships. Some players they transferred, went out to other schools, either down a level or the same, and that opened up a couple scholarship spots where we were able to fill those with some new players.
And then this is this isn't a chauvinistic question,
No.
but I'm there aren't a lot of professional sports for women. So, it's one thing for a football player or a baseball player. I might have run into a guy who was a pro and told me what to do. Most college basketball girls, especially when they're in high school and being recruited, have never met anybody who's played at the highest level.
Right.
Do you love breaking out a good Cheryl Swoop story or a Lisa Leslie, because this is what these girls are thinking about, but there's not, once the WNBA is out there for 50 or 60 years, maybe it's
Right.
spread more, but there's not many people with those types of stories right now.
That's true, but you know what? They're being exposed a little bit more, and I think the fact that, here in Atlanta, we have a pro basketball team.
The Dream.
We have the Atlanta Dream, so now it's visible to the young ladies. They're able to go to the Dream games. Now, to be honest with you, if I were to break out a Cheryl Swoops, or I'm telling my age, or if I were to break out a Lisa Leslie story, I have the young ladies looking at me like,
Who
who?
is? Hold on,
right? So,
I'm Googling it.
They don't
Did
know.
she say Swoops or Whoops?
So if I say Candace Parker or Sabrina Ionescu or Stewie, Brianna Stewart, they know who they are.
Yeah.
Those are the most recent players. But during my era, they're not familiar.
Well, but,
Cheryl Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in time, Lisa Leslie will be looked at as,
Right. They're looking at her now. She's a color analyst on television, so
Right.
that's what they think
she's
she
the
is.
Bill Russell
Right.
of the WNBA.
But
or
right
something.
now, they think she's an analyst. So
Correct.
there you go.
Oh, she played too?
She did. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of ask players this too. And like I said, we like to get into players and tell them, ask them things like, "What's your favorite gym you've ever played in?"
Okay. It has to be UConn. See, back in the day when I played at Miami, we were in the Big East with UConn. They're in the ACC right now, so we're in the Big East. So we would always have to go to Gamble Pavilion and play in front of that crowd, and you can hear yourself think. But
Coach Arietta?
Yeah, that's it. Ariema. It's his
Ariema.
name. Yeah, Gino. But yeah, we would go out there, and it would be one of the best college basketball atmospheres you could ever want to play at. So that's one for sure. And just any WNBA arena. I mean, those
Correct.
where the NBA players play, you're in that arena. They pack them out pretty well, and it's great to be at the highest level for women's basketball playing in a big-time arena. So I would have to say.
What's it like to be a rookie in LA? You already said, looking at people on Venice
Yes.
Beach and stuff, but you're getting paid, you're going to Staples,
Yes, yes.
how awesome of a lifestyle.
You know what's crazy? We actually played in the Forum. Remember the Forum?
fabulous Forum.
Yes, we were there. Yeah, before Staples Center. So, yeah, like I mentioned before, with Starstruck, really didn't come into my own until at least my second or third year in the WNBA. It was just like, okay, am I supposed to be here? Look at this. And it was almost like, you just kind of, for me, I know I kind of sat back and just kind of waited my turn. If I had to do it all over again, I would have taken it to him from day one. It's like I knew I should have. So
Did Jack
yeah.
Nicholson ever come to your games?
He did.
Did he really?
Shaquille O'Neal was there because he played. Kobe was there at the time. All the NBA players would come support. We were like their sisters, so they would always
That's
be there.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Big Jack coming to a game. I knew he goes to all the Laker games
Yeah,
still. I
he
think.
went
Yeah.
to WNBA game as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool.
That's cool. So what can we expect out of the Owls this year?
Well, you can expect a little bit more of what you saw last year. Hopefully 2.0.
Up and down basketball.
Yes, we brought a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. I like to press, and I recruited players myself and my staff. We went out and found the players that really fit our style of play. So I think, obviously when I got the job 2 years ago, we inherited a type of, almost all the players that we had.
Sure.
And not that you necessarily tailored them to the style that I had. They were more tailored to the staff before. So now, and they did a phenomenal job the last 2 years, but now we have players more fitting to what we want to do offensively and defensively. And you're going to see a lot of fast-paced, up and down, pressure defense, and exciting basketball.
And we talked a little bit before the show about some of your upcoming schedule isn't completely out yet.
It's
but
not out.
Can you share any of the possible games that you might be playing this year?
I don't want to mention them until they're out.
I don't
It'll be
blame
out
you.
next week. However, I will say our non-conference schedule is very challenging. We're going to the Conference USA. We got to make sure we go into that conference battle tested. We got big time games coming here in the combo. We were able to attract some great teams, for our fans to enjoy, and then we're going on the road to test ourselves against some Power Fives.
Some big schools.
Big schools, and I always say this: you want to be somebody, you better beat somebody. So we're coming in, whatever the outcome of the game is going to be a lesson, whether it's a win or a loss. We're going to figure out who we are pretty early in the season, and we got to make the adjustments along the way.
There's a couple of 11th grade girls who are watching this at home, and they're down to the final 3 schools. Why KSU? Why should they come and bust their butt for you?
Okay, well, you're going to come to a coach and a staff that cares about you, the person. You, the young lady, not just about your ability on the basketball court. We're going to make sure you graduate. We're going to make sure you make your family proud. And I know you're going to enjoy your experience under our tutelage. That's what I'm going to tell you.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because the purpose of our show, because I love Kennesaw State. I've been here my whole life. Never lived any further than 5 miles from the Marietta Square. So this is home for me.
Okay.
And going to Kennesaw Junior College. The purpose of our show is to connect the athletes with the community, because we're very involved in the community outside of this show. And we really want to help them. And what we've been saying since day one is if you give $500 to Alabama or to Miami or to Georgia or to Tech, doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
You give $500 to KSU,
That's right.
you become part of the family. And we're living proof of that now that we've given some money to the school.
Absolutely.
And we got you on the show. Coach Bo's coming on the show. Barclay's coming on the show.
Awesome.
We have tons of players.
Awesome assistant coaches sitting just off
Coach
the
Mack.
camera.
And we really want to be a part of KSU.
We love that.
And a lot more money to come. We're going to up our sponsorship fee so we can give more to the school. So
Amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
We love the support, and that's one of the things that makes Kennesaw State so special is the community. People come out. I had the opportunity to sit here and witness what happened with our men's basketball program last year and how the city really got behind. I mean, we were Georgia's teams. We're Kennesaw
the only
State
team.
was Georgia's team,
Yeah.
the state of Georgia's team, and it was great to see. It was great for our ladies to see. It was great to see that it could be done here at Kennesaw State.
Absolutely.
And our girls are hungry. Our ladies are hungry for a ring. They saw it happen.
And it's funny, the exposure that we got at that game
Absolutely.
was amazing. I went with Will, and me and Will went together, and Garrett too. But when we were walking to the arena, everybody said, "Where's Kennesaw?"
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
knew where it was.
They know it now.
And I'll guarantee you, when we sang "You Don't Want to Go to War with the Owls," everybody looked at it like, "What the hell was they saying?"
Probably one of the best fight songs in the
No
country.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
But by the end of the game, when we started singing it, everybody in that arena except Xavier was singing it. And it was the
The
coolest thing.
Xavier fans were humming it, so they were still so catchy they couldn't help themselves.
Exactly.
So moving to Conference USA, it's going to be a really good thing for this school and for this community.
No question.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have really good teams coming in. We're going to be battle tested. I think there's great teams. It's a huge conference, one of the biggest ones in the mid-major market. So we're excited to play in it.
It's the 10th largest conference in the country, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Conference USA, here we go.
conferences, used to be this big. You're going all the way out to New Mexico,
Going all the
as
way out
high
to
as
Mexico.
Virginia.
Yes.
All the way back down to your home turf.
It's
That's-
crazy, isn't it?
That's a big area.
No, I'm
Big
excited
area.
for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Is there one team you're excited about playing in Conference USA?
It's always going to be Florida International. I get to go back home to Miami and South Florida where the Owls will have a huge crowd. We had a huge crowd. We played a tournament down there this past year. Played at FAU and FIU. We had a swing trip, and we were packed with the Owls. My high school teammates, my high school classmates came out. My family was there. We had a crowd cheering
That's awesome.
for us. So every time we go to Florida, whether we're playing North Florida, we're playing Stetson, we've got Owl fans in the building.
So did your high school, was it Nova?
Nova, yes.
Did Nova's girls basketball team show up?
We had some members of
That's
the
awesome.
Yeah, they
That's
did
awesome.
show up. We
They're like,
did.
who are we going to see? She used to play here. She used to have your locker.
Yeah, they retweeted it. They posted it. They knew we were coming to town.
That's awesome.
What I did was I put on Facebook really early in advance. I say, hey, bringing our team down. Would love for all of South Florida to come out. Wear your Owls gear. If you need anything, call me. I got you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Want to make
awesome.
sure we have fans.
You got anything? Coach, we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you for
for
having
being
me.
on here. This
For
was
sure.
so much fun. And Coach Mack, get your guts up. We're going to get you on here too. All right?
Thank you.
But everybody put a big hand together and a big hootie hoo for Coach Octavia Blue.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Oh, for sure. Thank y'all. Anytime.
That was a lot of fun. All right. Sadly, we have another guest tonight that's probably not as exciting and wonderful as
Thank
Coach
you so
Octavia
much.
Blue.
We're
But
do a commercial first.
yeah, let's do Alvin.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
And thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports. And now we're going to bring in our second guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Barclay Miller. Everybody, hooty hoo for Barclay. How are you, buddy?
OG.
What is OG?
Original gangster.
Original gangster.
The original gangster.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Thank you for having me on.
How are you, Barclay?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We're
Man,
excellent.
We're excellent. First thing we want to do, I know last week or a couple of weeks ago at the event, we gave you guys the check, per se.
Yes, sir.
Now
Sitting
we're going
right
to
here
give
by
you
us.
the check. And if you'll look in that envelope behind you, there's actually $800 in cash in there.
Wow. Thank you guys very much.
We're happy to do it.
Yes, sir.
Fun thing. So
This means a lot to us, and I'm sure the guys listening know. This is for the NIL, the name, image, and likeness that we have formed for Kennesaw, the official one.
did I do too good a job of taping?
Yeah, that's all taped up. That's good.
Yeah, you guys have it taped
We
up.
wanted to make sure nobody
Oh, come on.
accidentally took that money.
I want to show it off right there, guys, right there.
Woo! $800
$800
to the
man.
Owl Collective.
Thank you guys very much. It really does mean a lot.
It's
bet.
a blast for us, and we've been donating money to a few different causes since we started the show, and I think this might be our new favorite and our standard from now on.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yes, sir. So I got to ask, though, who is going to win the Fantasy Football League?
Ask Robert, and he'll tell you.
All I do is win, win.
Oh.
Hey, when your league is only 2 years old, you can kind of always go to the guy who won the first year. Well, that would be me. So until I'm knocked down, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
And Nick Mazzaroni did a very good job of being the thing. He wasn't
did.
quite as cutting as you were,
Oh.
giving people a bunch of grief, but Nick did a good job. We had a lot of fun.
Come on, that's part of my personality. I got to give people a hard time.
Absolutely.
I know
Drafts are only fun when people are being given a hard time.
Yes.
I asked Adam if his hamstring was sore after one pick, and he's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because you reached for that pick." And he's like, "Oh." But that's what makes a draft.
I'll never forget DeAndre Hopkins lasted until like the last round of y'all's draft last year, and that was just absolutely shocking to me.
But it turns out we were all right.
No, you were. It was just shocking to me.
No, I understand.
Because there were guys going that were like rookies that are just, and I know he was out for part of the season. You're right, he didn't end up doing anything last year, but like I said, just shocking. Like I said, it was fun giving everybody a hard time last year.
Absolutely.
Are you in a fantasy league?
I am. So my favorite fantasy league, it's pretty competitive. It's a high stakes one. We call it the OGs league. That the KSU has-beens. It actually has been changed to now because we're all just a bunch of has-beens. It's nice, very competitive. 12-man league. Been going on since my junior year of college.
Oh, wow.
PPR.
Oh yeah, PPR, full PPR.
And have you had your draft?
Our draft is Monday night.
Monday night. Do you
Wow.
know what spot you're in yet?
Yes, I'm picking third.
Third.
Yes.
Wow.
That's going to be a solid pick.
I hope so.
Who you think's Who do you think's falling to you?
It's going to be tough, right? You can reach and go, which everybody hates, and go quarterback. But I'm not a big quarterback guy. I'm full PPR. Running backs are really hard to come by. I am really big on Christian McCaffrey this year. Hear me out. Because in Carolina, everybody was scared of him because he got hurt all the time because he got overused. Now that he's in San Fran, they don't have to use him as much. But he's going to be way more dynamic. They got Brock Purdy, who they already named. He's going to be the starter once he's healthy again. They got Deebo Samuel. They have so many weapons. It's going to open up his game.
San Francisco is going to be much better, but just remember, if he's not getting the ball, he's not helping that fantasy team very much.
That is true. That is true. And that's kind of who I'm looking for. If not him,
he could fall to you.
Derrick Henry, I would love to see at 3. I mean, King Henry, he gets a big workload, but he's such a big body, he can handle it.
Well, I did probably 40 mock drafts before we did our draft, and I picked 5th.
Yes, sir.
And in every one of them, McCaffrey was gone by 5.
Yeah.
But this time he was there because I really wanted Bijan.
Oh, yeah.
But when McCaffrey was there, I said, I don't know, I got to take him. So I took him.
I have a fun stat for Bijan Robinson and everybody listening that is a fantasy person. Every running back that has been a top guy, their best fantasy year over the past decade is their first year, their rookie year.
Absolutely.
So it's a quote-unquote risk to take a rookie, but you never really know what you're going to get with a rookie running back. That's probably when they're going to have the highest workload because they got fresh legs out of college. And I think Bijan would be a great pick this year. But I'm happy you got C-Mac. I think I'm going to try to ride C-Mac if he falls to me.
Well, most of them went Jefferson and Chase.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, speaking of pro football, how cool is it that Travis Bell is on the practice squad for the Bears?
I think that's so cool. I'm really happy for Travis. Kind of similar route that Big Z took. Big Z, Zoya Lufai played at Kennesaw State as well. Had a really good, preseason and then ended up on the practice squad. I think Travis actually had a little bit of a better preseason than Z. He had a little bit more disruption. I hope to see him get pulled up to the active roster sometime this year. And once you get pulled up to that roster, it changes your whole career path. You get on a different pay scale for the rest of the time while you're in the NFL. And then you just have to hold on for 3 more years, and you get full health benefits for the rest of your life and the retirement, which I think is like $40,000 a year for the rest of your life, which is nice,
Absolutely.
So I'm excited for Travis. I hate that he got put on practice squad because I was reading so many of the Chicago writers
about the guy that said he's the next Aaron
Aaron
Donald.
Donald.
Aaron Donald, man. I read, and I feel like 9 out of 10 of them were like, Travis Bell projected to make the active roster.
Me too.
And I don't think it's a bad thing they're stashing him, though. A lot of times these NFL teams will do that just to give them an extra year or 2 before they have to sign him on a contract. So
I know a kid who was not drafted last year, was put on the practice squad of the Ravens, and then the Ravens he was a wide receiver, and they had a little bit of an injury bug, so they put him on the roster, and then they put him on the practice squad, and then they brought him up and they put him, but they were only allowed to do that a couple times before they had to offer him to the whole world.
Yeah.
So if there's anything going on in Chicago that might have him jump up to the roster or back down, after it happens that second time, anybody can grab a hold of him, and I think that's where he's getting ready to be. I think once he's unleashed on the world, a Belichick or somebody's going to go, yeah, I've got room for that guy over here.
I saw tape on that guy in the preseason. A good thing about that too, being a defensive lineman, an interior defensive lineman at that, we all know, very prone to injuries inside those trenches. You get a few guys banged up.
Absolutely.
You have significant playing time out of nowhere. So.
Well, I talked to Coach Safford last night. Darius Safford, we texted back and forth.
Yes, sir.
And he said, you know what? He's one player away.
That's it.
One player away from being there. And like you said, injuries happen all the time on the defensive line. I want to see him up there so bad. They play the Bears. The Falcons play the Bears on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. I'd love to go and see Travis play on New Year's Eve in Chicago.
That would be so cool. Get your Travis Bell jersey up there. I know it would hurt you guys.
Will's got one.
Will's already got
one. That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about your Travis Bell jersey.
The KSU super fan. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's also got Super Z's jersey. So he's got all the jerseys.
Something cool about Will that Will can say. He's the only fan I've ever seen
sing happy birthday at the
football
game.
Team has sang happy birthday to. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I love it. I love it.
So that was cool. I was sitting right behind Will when that happened. That was fabulous.
Yes,
see
sir.
See the look on the back of his head.
But once again, it's what we talk about where, if you donate this much money to one of these big schools, it's not the same as giving $800 to that. And if you become a fan of the Owls, having somebody sing happy birthday, the football team might sing happy birthday. This doesn't happen
was
at a lot of
special.
places.
That was very
You're exactly right. You know, you take $800, you donate that to UGA, and it goes completely unnoticed.
That was gas money for a recruiter who wasn't even out recruiting kids.
That's exactly
out
it. You know,
drag racing cars.
yeah. No, you're right. It a little spicy with that one.
Anytime it mentions Athens, somebody gets real spicy.
It's true though. You know, it
No, it is.
it doesn't go as far. It doesn't mean as much. But you look at a program like Kennesaw State, and you look at how competitive we've been in athletics, from women's softball all the way to football, baseball. It doesn't matter. All we do is win, which is awesome. And part of it is, you know, being a part of that fan base. It's like a tight-knit family. You go walk through the stands, everyone knows each other, season ticket holder-wise, which is really cool. That's not something else you get to see at these bigger schools. And you donate $800, $1,000. It goes a long way, and it means a lot to these kids. And you get to see exactly how it affects the program, which is special.
No, absolutely. You just brought up a great point. You know, the fans all know each other here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go to a Michigan game. Well, I haven't missed a game in 60 years. Me neither. And we've never seen each other because there's 100,000 people there every Saturday. That's not the case here when we come to play.
We have the entire Kennesaw State athletic support staff eating in the back right now. Listening to the show, all the trainers. I mean, how cool is that? Yeah, that doesn't happen in Athens. That doesn't happen anywhere else. That's what makes Kennesaw such a special place, and that's what makes me so proud to be able to represent the NIL and just be a proud alumni of the football team. It means more.
Let me ask you guys this question. If I say 23 hours, 19 minutes, and 15 seconds, does that mean anything to any of you?
Kickoff, baby.
Kickoff coming.
Ooh.
How excited are you?
I am pumped. I'm blessed enough. I'm going to be on the TV broadcast tomorrow, so you get to see this ugly mug on the television.
There you go.
Hey,
you
not
get
too
a face.
bad.
You got a face for radio, but you know we love you anyway.
That's exactly right. That's what I
you
always
be on
say.
ESPN Plus?
Yes, sir. I
Oh,
will.
that's really
That's
cool.
great.
I will. I'll
Is
be
your
on-
first attempt on that station?
No, this is my third year on TV, so
Oh, wow.
very, very excited about that. Started off on radio. As you said, I had a face for radio. They couldn't find anybody prettier than me walking around Kennesaw yet, so I'm holding on for dear life right now. Yet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They hadn't seen Willa Garrett then. right?
We talked about that the first time when you first were approached for this position, and you know they're going out to the bayou to find a guy who knows it. But you know, once again, you are part of the original staff, or the original team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think that played a big part of it. You know, you look at what Nolan Alexander's been able to do over at Kennesaw. I love it. You look at before Nolan came, there was no one really involved that was former football, nothing. Now you look, I'm the color analyst for TV. Brandon Sutton, who played offensive line here at Kennesaw, also an OG color analyst for radio. Our sideline / assistant color analyst, Caleb O'Neill, everybody knows him. Sea-Dog, the legend wide receiver at Kennesaw. It's a bunch of former guys, former alumni. It makes it special. The viewers and the listeners that tune in, it's recognizable names, it's recognizable voices, and I think it just kind of hits home a little bit more when you're watching the game.
Absolutely.
And you know, we really need better announcers on college football around the globe. I watched the game the other day, Notre Dame and Navy, and first drive, Navy's up to the 48, and the announcer says he stands him up at the goal line.
I heard that, yes.
He's at the 48-yard
Yes,
line. What are you
yes.
talking about? He stands him up at the
And
goal
it's
line.
like, what are you talking about? I will say, you will have some brain farts on live TV.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You say the craziest things.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'll never let him live it down. I walked in and I heard a playback of him from the radio. This was last year. And he goes, man, he ran that ball all the way to the 55.
No, but it does. It does. You can say some really dumb things
Yeah.
when you're the only person with a microphone.
That's the truth, and they let you talk.
And I hated Larry Munson as an announcer, not because he went to Georgia, but
It is because he went
It
to
is.
Georgia.
no, it's
Georgia.
not.
Yes,
But I
is.
hated
It's
Al.
like everything else.
But I hated Al Seraldo too. Al Seraldo was the second worst college football announcer. I'll never forget. Tech was driving and they're at their own 45, and it was a screen pass. He said, "Mashan back." He's over to Eddie Lee. He's at the 45. He's at the 50. He's at 48 for a loss of 1 yard. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Come on.
I'll tell you who is personally my favorite color guy right now in the game. Greg Olson does a great job.
He does do a good job.
Fantastic job. He's confident behind the mic. He knows exactly who he's talking about.
And it's not easy to have a tight end who's still got all the faculties after the career.
That's exactly right. You're right. It is. It's impressive for me, and he can break down the game to such an elementary level. You can understand what he's saying, and he can get advanced if he needs to.
Tell me this. I hate the Cowboys, but do you like Romo pointing out what the next play is going to be?
Okay, so that's cool until he's wrong, and then he just doesn't say anything about it and glosses over it. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, come on, man. It's cool. The most impressive thing Romo ever did to me, it was on a Monday night game. I don't remember who was playing, but I remember the quarterback said he audibled, but he was like, Bob Ross. And Tony Romo goes, I bet this is going to be a draw. Because, Bob Ross, artist, draw. They sure did run a draw on the next play. I was like, all right, that's pretty slick, man.
Right.
That's pretty slick.
Knowing his stuff.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite announcer all time? Main guy?
Oh, God. Eli Gold?
Eli Gold?
Yeah.
He's an Alabama guy,
He
right?
is an Alabama guy.
Yeah.
Legend.
But you're not an Alabama guy, right? You're an LSU guy.
Roll Tide, baby. What you mean? We've had this
conversation.
Yes,
I like to poke the bear.
You're right. I am from the bayou of Baton Rouge, right in LSU's backyard. My family has had Alabama season tickets since my grandfather. I did not have a choice about who I was going to cheer for growing up.
We talked about that earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I scream Roll Tide, but I mean, if we're being honest, go Owls.
No, there you go.
There you go.
So
that's all that really matters.
Keith Jackson's probably my favorite football announcer. Did
That's
you ever
a good
get to hear him?
Yep, that's a good one.
And my second is Wes Durham.
Wes Durham.
I think we had Will, his son, on the show not too long ago. And he said, my dad's not my favorite announcer. I said, he's my number 2, but he's pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, so that's neat. We want to get into it. Let's go ahead and get our last commercial out of the way, then we'll get into some more KSU stuff and some Conference USA picks.
We got some picks coming.
Can't wait.
Hey, this is kind of an opening for this sponsor. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, bachelor or bachelorette party, or a work outing that'll have them talking at the water cooler for years, American Access, with their 3 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, and now in downtown at the Works, they've got your answer for the same old, same old. Look us up at American Access and give us a call at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher at American Axe, for giving us sponsorship for the KSU Owl Show, and we will tribute you by not picking the winner, but giving the loser the axe as we go into these next picks. Before we get into our picks, what do you know about Tusculum? When you prepare for a game like this, how long does it take you to learn the players' names and numbers and all that stuff? Or is there somebody in your ear saying, someone's at 46, someone's at 48?
Okay, so whenever you have somebody in your ear, it's typically if you're sitting there saying a number and they'll feed you the name.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Sanders, that's our producer for TV. You really want to know the name because you want to be on top of it, and come on, it's big for these kids. That's their moment to shine on TV. So I want to make sure I can make the most of that. I usually start on a Thursday night game. It's a little different. I start preparing on a Monday, but Saturday typically is Wednesday. I sit down, check out the game notes, try to read through them best I can, and the rosters is where I really try to hit. My favorite thing to do with a school like Tusculum or Chattanooga, whoever we're playing, I like to go back and look at the box scores from last year, see who stands out to me, and then if I have access to the film, which isn't always, like we did not have access to Tusculum's film this week, I like to go back and watch 2 or 3 games and pick it out and kind of see who the gamers are, because the tail of the tape doesn't always really tell the story of football,
Sure.
Preston Daniels did not have great stats last year if you look at his pure stats, but the impact that he had on the game in the Owls offense compared to whenever he was out standing on the sidelines was huge. Just because of the blocking aspect he had and how much they had to respect the B-back going through the A-gaps last year. So that's a guy that I like to kind of point out, to the fans. You look at this guy and look at the impact he has whenever he's on or off the field. Tusculum, they're an interesting opponent. They're coming off of one of their best years ever last year. They're returning I think it was 18 of 22 on defense.
On defense, wow.
Yeah, so they're too deep. They're returning 18 of their too deep from defense last year.
That's pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. And they had a pretty impressive defense last year. Coach Odom for Tusculum has done a great job. He's a defensive-minded head coach, played linebacker at Florida, was a team captain his senior year at Florida. Yep. Yeah, he was a monster up the middle, played Mike. So, you know, we definitely got along on the coach's call with that. I think they're going to play a hard-nosed style of defense, fly around as much as they can. It's going to be a tall task for them. I mean, you're talking about a Division II team stepping up to a school that is moving into FBS. That's even harder of a task than it would have been this time last year against Kennesaw State.
Correct.
They're going to have to set the point of attack up front. Big thing that they're going to have to do, in my opinion, offensively. They run a very similar, air raid RPO type style that everybody's going to. It kind of takes away the offensive line where typically a smaller school is weaker. They're going to have to hit on 3 or 4 big plays, 20 plus, just to set the tone and get out in front a little bit. And they're just going to have to hang around as long as they can until they might be able to strike late in the third or fourth quarter.
Well, the question is they have no tape on us. Because
tape.
We're not going to be running the same offense we've been running for
tape.
6-7 years now. So, yeah.
The reason we didn't have any tape, actually, Chuck, is because Tusculum, whenever they were asked if they wanted to trade tape, Coach Odom told us, he's like, I told him, why on earth would I trade tape with you guys? Nothing's going to be like it was last year.
Yeah.
He was like, and I mean, come on, I'm the underdog anyway. I don't get anything. We're throwing everything to the wall and seeing what sticks. He was pretty honest, and it was cool to see that side of him.
Yeah, and I went through every sports book I could find and could not find a spread on this game anywhere. So if there were a spread, what do you think it would be, Barkley?
Ooh, I think it would be Owls minus 28.5.
That much,
yes.
Huh? Okay.
I mean, whenever you're talking about Kennesaw and the pedigree that we are and moving on to FBS and Tusculum, I think that the sports writers would really lean in favor to Kennesaw State, and it's just because Tusculum, Coach Odom was very upfront. He said they only have like 28 kids on scholarship, period.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. So compared to us, that's tough. That's definitely a mismatch. It's going to be a tall hill for them to climb. But like I pointed out to Coach Odom, everyone please tune in tomorrow night. You never know. Appalachian State, Michigan was not that long ago.
Absolutely.
And Appalachian State, Texas A&M last year, right?
Amen.
Also something tough about this, I think they are coming down in 1974 buses.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, oh my gosh, I know
but it's not always the highest class at the lower school as far as how you're traveling. So being the road team's never easy.
It's not, and you're right. Division II, you have a lot of challenges that kind of get overcome once you get up to FCS and FBS ball, and they're coming all the way from East Tennessee. I know Tusculum's kind of in a very small town, so you're not even looking at like a West Florida, who is like might as well be the Alabama Division II football.
Correct.
Crazy nice facilities. They're in a huge metropolis with lots of support. I don't think they really have that at Tusculum. So this game was big for them. They said that this game actually paid for their new away jerseys. So
really?
Big deal for the guys coming over here.
That's awesome.
Now, where are they in Tennessee?
Oh, let me look. Let me look at the game notes.
Is it Johnson? Not Johnson City, is it?
No, sir. It's not Johnson City. I think that's ETSU,
That is
unfortunately.
ETSU, yeah.
Let's see. Tusculum. That's why we got iPhones now, right? Greenville,
Greenville,
Tennessee. Yep.
Yeehaw.
Yep, they're a private school.
Small school.
Yep. Fun fact about Tusculum, though, their president went to college with my father at William Carey University.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I told my dad, I was on the phone with him last night, and I was like, yeah, I was reading through the game notes, and I saw William Carey. And my dad played baseball there. And he was like, William Carey? He's like, that's kind of odd. I was like, man, he's associated with the university somehow. I'm scrolling through their game notes. I'm like, oh, right here. I'm like, it's the president. And I read him his name. He's like, he graduated like the year before me.
Isn't that crazy?
I was like, that is crazy. Small world.
It is. Robert's looking up exactly where it is.
Yeah, just looking, they're not even on the side of a good highway. It's going to take them a while just to get to the highway.
So what's the closest big city to it?
It's south of Johnson City.
Oh, so it's East Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. It's barely North Carolina.
Coach Odom said that the closest airport is about 2 hours away.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. They drive down here, though, right?
Oh, have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to.
By the time they get to the airport,
Yeah, they might as well just drive.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our picks for the week. We picked several of the Conference USA games because that's where we're heading, and not a lot of conference games for us to pick. So our first game is one of our favorite teams in the world, Liberty Flames, and they're playing at Bowling Green State University, and they're laying 10. Robert, who do you take?
It's kind of wild that, Bowling Green has been around and we've all been able to watch Bowling Green on TV for many, many years. It's kind of wild that Liberty is a 10-point favorite. I'm going to go with Liberty because I saw that they have the easiest schedule in all of college football this year. So I'm guessing this must be a down year for Bowling Green.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give the American Axe to Liberty. I don't think they're going to cover the 10 points, and I'll be pulling for the Falcons because we all hate Liberty.
Amen. I'm with you, Chuck. I got to ride it. Bowling Green, his historical program, the reason they have the 10-point bump, in my opinion, it's the Hugh Freeze effect. I know he's not there anymore. They're still going to lean that way with him. None of those players, they've all transferred out that he recruited there and promised all these great things. They're either at Auburn now, shocker, or they're playing somewhere else.
How do you think he's going to do at Auburn?
Oh, he's going to do a great job, unfortunately.
Yeah. Will they beat Georgia?
I hope so.
Me too.
Not this year, eventually.
But eventually,
Hugh
yeah.
Freeze has won everywhere that he's been. And
he's
it's not by mistake.
successful.
It's not by mistake.
All right, second game, La Tech plus 20 at SMU, the Mustangs of Southern Methodist University.
I'll go with the Pony Express at SMU. I got no love lost for La Tech. How close to your hometown was that?
Ruston was about 4 hours north of my hometown. I'm from Denham Springs, really, which is a suburb of Baton Rouge, like 18 minutes outside of Baton Rouge. Ruston, 4 hours north. Y'all have probably heard of West Monroe High School.
Monroe.
Yes, it's one of the biggest, most successful high school football programs in the Southeast, and Ruston recruits that place heavy, and we got to play them in the playoffs twice while I was in high school. So
wow.
I'm actually going to go with SMU too. I do think they're going to get after the Bulldogs.
SMU.
I'm going to give the axe to La Tech, and so I actually think SMU will cover the 20. So that's great. University of South Florida, who we also hate because they took our basketball coach, but we love our new one, plus 11.5 at Western Kentucky.
Stole my coach, future rival in my conference. I'm gonna go USF. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I'll go USF.
Wow. You think USF covers plus 11.5?
We'll find out.
Okay. All right. No, I like it. Yeah, I got to go to Western Kentucky just because of their mascot. What is that thing?
It's a hill.
Yeah,
It's a big red blob.
Yes.
It's a red hill.
He's iconic. I have to go with him.
Well, I am too because I give the axe to USF, so I think Western Kentucky will cover the 11.5.
And hey, I just wanted to make sure I went the opposite way because if not, we'd all three gone for a future rival, and we don't want to do that.
No,
Hey,
absolutely.
you're
not.
right. You're right.
Well, we played Western. No, it's Eastern Kentucky was in the
Correct.
ASUN with us.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yep. All right, and the last one is BYU minus 20 at the Sam Houston Institute of Technology.
Boy, I know you love saying that. Let me just say, anytime you get into an echelon where BYU, man, that's big boy football. You might think, well, they're not big as Ohio State or this team. They're pretty darn close to Ohio State and the rest of those guys. So I'll take BYU minus that 20 for the behind the shed treatment that they're getting ready to give Sam Houston.
And I'll take Sam Houston as the axe. We'll
As
give
the
the axe to Sam Houston. So I believe, too, that BYU will cover the 20.
And this is a special game to me. My last college football game I've ever played in was at Sam Houston in the quarterfinals of 2017. But I know that football team. I know what they've done. They were very impressive last year, and they're just getting better. I do not think BYU covers 20 points against Sam Houston.
Wow.
Going out on a limb with that one, I really don't. I think Sam Houston puts up more of a fight than getting beat by 3 scores.
there's always somebody, you're worried about this guy, and this guy at BYU, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh, that 5-star guy out of I didn't know where that 5-star out of
Michigan
Marina.
transferred.
I was gonna someplace out in California.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where he is now.
That's the truth.
So on our earlier show, Barclay, we took the 4 playoff teams in the NCAA and picked a national champion. Let's get yours.
Okay. 4 playoff teams in the NCAA. Who'd y'all have?
Oh, come on. Did you just plagiarizing us? Come on. You know all this stuff.
If I had to pick,
Yes.
if I had to pick the 4, I think Bama's in.
Okay.
And just purely because of all the hate in the preseason, that never suits the bad guy that is Nick Saban well. He's a revenge tour type guy.
We all agree.
So I definitely think Bama. I think Georgia gets in. I think Oregon wins the Pac-12 and gets in.
Wow.
And that leaves Ohio State in the Big Ten. I think that's the 4.
And what's the national championship game and who wins it?
This is biased, so I want everyone to know that. Put an asterisk on it.
Hey, everybody who's watching at home already knew this was all biased.
Put an asterisk on it. This is biased. Bama beats Ohio State in the national championship.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State beats Georgia, and I think Bama beats Oregon in the playoffs.
Okay. So you weren't far off. Here's what everybody else picked.
You picked
Penn
Oregon, didn't you?
State.
That guy's a Penn State
He's a
fan.
Penn State grad.
Okay.
Same asterisk that you used, he used as well.
Yeah. I put Clemson, Bama, Ohio State, and
UGA.
no, that's Roberts. I would never pick them. Yeah.
I've got UGA not
I
winning
see
this.
Notre Dame. Okay.
Yeah. Did you watch them Saturday?
Yeah, they looked good.
Hartman looked really good.
He looked really good. He's the truth.
He's got a great
Yes.
offensive line. They
Yep.
got a great backfield. I think they're going to do things.
He's the truth. It's going to depend on their defense, in my opinion. Their defense is going to drive that football team.
Well, he was so successful at Wake Forest when you show up at Notre Dame and you're like, wow, my weapons just got a lot better and my blocking is incredible.
Yep.
So, but like you said, it'll come down to D. That's a big game, Ohio State, Notre Dame halfway through the season.
Yeah,
So I
excited
got
to watch that one.
Clemson, Bama, Michigan, and Notre Dame.
That's a good one.
And Alabama and Notre Dame.
I could definitely see Notre Dame. It just depends on their defense. That's what they ride or die on every year because they are able to recruit the skill guys. They got big guys up there to play on the O-line. Where they lack and get exposed in the big games, if they do, is DB.
When they do.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm allowed to say when.
You're right. And it's always, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's always DBs and linebackers.
Sure.
That's where they fall short. It's hard to kind of round out.
The last time they were in a huge game, they figured out that the linebacker was dating a mythical lady.
Yeah.
Not so good.
Oh, yeah. Manateo, yeah. Well, Barclay, thanks as always for being on the show.
Yes,
We
sir.
got you on the record now, man. of
Absolutely.
Making you picks, and we'll let you know how you do.
Heck yeah,
we
thanks, guys.
look forward to hearing you all year on ESPN Plus.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. And one last plug, if y'all don't mind. If you have any questions about the NIL and want to support Kennesaw State Athletics, hit me up on Twitter. It's at Barkley2192. I will respond to anyone. I'm an open book on there. So, yeah, thanks for everybody helping out, and who do you?
And if you can't
Thanks for all
get to
you do.
Barkley, you call us, and we'll get you in touch.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for Coach Octavia Lou and Barclay Miller for being our guest tonight on the Owls Who Live Sports. We'll see you next Wednesday, and beat the Pioneers tomorrow night.
Go Owls.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. That was